Yo, what's up, Peace man? It's your boy King. Long time no see, man. I decided to boot up NBA 2K21. It's the PS5 version. Now, NBA 2K22. Now, I hate to be talking about NBA 2K22 this early, man, but there are some things that got into this game that should have never been carried over from the current generation of 2K, which is the PS4 and the Xbox One. Um, there are just certain times in this game where if the CPU wants a shot, they will do anything to get that shot, no matter what input you're making on a controller. Now, bear with me here because it's going to be, I can't really prove this to you all, but I know what I was doing on a joystick. And if you've played this game, you know, if you played any 2K, you know that the game often takes control over your players and your controller, and your inputs don't really matter. I've had times to where I've passed the ball the complete opposite side of, only to have it to go the complete opposite to where I was throwing it. I've had situations to where you're about to see right now is I'm aiming the controller in an entirely different. I'm trying to get back to LaMelo right here, but yet now only just then does my controller register as trying to go and pick up Melo right here, right? So all I was doing here was bumping down real quick, and I was finna go get back to Melo. But the moment I hit this animation, right here is when I'm trying to go back. Right here is when I'm trying to go back. You can see it. You can see the input making sense on my controller right here. I'm turning around. I'm gonna get ready to go to Melo. I'm not even saying LaMelo wouldn't have gotten an open shot here still. But all I'm saying is, how did that turn into this? And part of this may not even be the fact that they were taking control of my joystick. It's just, this is just such a lackluster and kind of ridiculous if you really think about it, animation for this situation. I know I'm bumping into my guy, right? I know I'm bumping into my teammate, and that's cool. But why would this animation trigger? Why would he be able to push me to where I'm moving in an entirely different direction? It's almost as if he pushed me and I redirected my attention to the area to the area that he was pushing me to on the floor, which should have not been happening at all, since I was absolutely trying to get to LaMelo. And when you see stuff like this, you already know that it is buckets, absolute buckets. And this stuff can't carry over to the newer games, even though it's almost like just beating a dead horse at this point. They're gonna bring it back. They don't have a way to get this AI to react properly, because even when you look at Gordon Hayward and what he was doing, this is an absolutely terrible decision. You make this pass to LaMelo much earlier, but instead he runs directly in to D'Angelo Russell. And now he only makes a move when he's forced to make a move. Like, this is not basketball, people. This is not basketball at all. This is the AI like prodding and prying to get a cheesy opening so they can get an open shot up. That is all this is. This is not basketball. We haven't been really playing basketball for a long time with these games, man. And the AI is not up to snuff, and it's because Czar came out before and said that the systems were not congruent with each other. These are all separate systems working with each other. Passing, post-up system, dribbling system, play calling system. All of these things are not cohesive with each other. And that's what creates this situation where the game feels really disconnected. And this is what they really need to work on. And this is one thing for these systems that we have that really actually needs to be cleaned up, man. Really needs to be cleaned up, man. At this point, it's just like I said, it's beating a dead horse, and that's why you haven't seen me upload in a while, man. Is because, like, I haven't been playing this game a lot, and it has a lot of potential. The AI really needs to be cleaned up, because if I'm gonna deal with this, why not play different genres of games where the AI is up to snuff? If you ever play a game like Uncharted, I know it's completely different genres, man, but you play a game like Uncharted, like that AI is absolutely smart enough to know to what angles to shoot you from, where to go to where you can't see them, but they can see you. They know how to engage you as a user, everything just makes sense on that game. You know what I mean? Opposed to something like NBA 2K, and I know it's two different ball games when it comes to trying to develop and put an AI together. That it's just a lot of different moving parts with basketball, but all I'm saying is that it was done better in previous games, not necessarily NBA 2K19 or 2K20, but we had previous games on Xbox 360 where the AI was done better than it is on here. It's like when you look here, Gordon Hayward has no idea that there's a defender right here. He's just running directly into D'Angelo Russell without a notion that even a notion that there's a defender in his way. And that's a problem because so much of basketball is reading the situation and reacting to it. It's like an instant. It doesn't even. It almost doesn't even. It's not even emotion. It's not even. You just instantly read and react. That's what basketball is. And the fact that he can't react to the point where he has to run the ball all the way into, of course, an animation is going to trigger, but in reality, this is a turnover 100% of the time, or a charge or something. Hayward is stopping right here. Hayward is either making that pass to LaMelo, or LaMelo's going to make a move with that ball. And it's like I said, man, we haven't been playing basketball for the longest time, man. There's no incentive for them to really make up these games. They don't even have any competition sitting around. They don't have any competition here. You can't really trust NBA Live. NBA Live is taking a hiatus like they took back when Elite 11, when they was going to launch Elite 11 and then put that one on the back burner. Well, canned it, actually. That's what they're doing here. NBA Live 19 comes out. It's an okay game. It's a step back from what NBA Live 18, was. NBA Live 18 was. But it showed promise. All of a sudden, you don't release a game in 20. You don't release a game in 2021. Why should I think that you're going to release a game in 22? Because they don't say anything. They just leave it up to chance until it just no longer shows up on the game listing charts for the year. So that you find out by it not being listed to come out this year. So that's what we're gonna find out if NBA Live comes out. And I'd be happy if NBA Live 22 comes out. I just want to have options, man. These basketball games became a very high level risk, and that's the reason why you don't see a lot of people getting into these sports games. Because they just a really high level risk, because the NBA license, that entails that the NBA has more control than you would want them to have over your game. You know what I mean? Something as simple as ninja headbands. NBA 2K had to take that out of the game because they were banned in the NBA. But the control goes way beyond that. I believe they're influencing things gameplay wise. It's nothing for the higher ups of the NBA to just say, like, look, we don't want this game to be too realistic, because what happens when things become too realistic and things become too difficult. People tend to just quit, and they still have investors, and they still want to keep that install base, to make the investors happy, so they can sell you microtransactions over and over and over. At the end of the day, this is a business, and the suits run this. The developers are not to blame for a lot of this. Like, they just don't have a lot of control over what's going on. Because I do believe if Scotto G's not here anymore, but Mike Wang, if they got free reign to make the game that they wanted to make, then this thing would be absolutely amazing. I 100% believe that. I 100% believe if Mike Wang and fucking the Czar and everybody else who works on the damn NBA 2K, I believe 100%. If the NBA wasn't a concern where you had to actually listen to what their inputs and the higher ups and the suits and stuff telling you what to put in the game, so you can optimize and sell the most copies, so you can then get those that install base to buy it's all about money. It's all about money, buying transaction, getting that install base so you can sell microtransactions. The game sales pales in comparison to the VC sales and all of this stuff. This makes this $1 billion company. Like, the microtransactions, not the actual sales of the game, that actually pales in comparison. I learned that a long time ago with Call of Duty and Advanced Warfare. They were making so much money over microtransactions that it just laughable how much they was making off sales. And we're talking about people who were selling like 15, 20 million copies. You know what I mean? So this is what it's about. And until there's another profitable way to being a realistic game and being basketball, having basketball being represented the way it should be in a basketball game, it has to become profitable for the organization that is ran by. That's just what has to happen. It has to become profitable. Is right now making a realistic game is just not profitable. It's just not profitable. People are gonna quit that. I mean, you got Agent Zero. You know, guys like Agent Zero get up there and say he doesn't want the most realistic basketball game. I wholeheartedly disagree. I want this game to be as realistic as it possibly can be, you know, because he's putting things like, oh, the game is sluggish and, you know, it's not fun to play. Okay, dude, like it would be fun to play if it weren't sluggish, because real basketball isn't sluggish. Like what I believe what he's trying to say is he wants realism done right, because there's no way you're going to be a fan of basketball, you're going to be a fan of watching these damn games, you play this damn game in real life, and you come on here and tell me that you don't want a game to be the most realistic. Is it? That makes no sense. You just want it done right. He just wants it done right. So that's what I'm going to chalk him up. But 2K's not going to take it that way. They're going to arcade the shit up, and then we're gonna get farther and farther and farther away from realism every year, because there is a way to fuck up arcade, you know what I mean? And that's what NBA 2K has been doing, because the problem is this is also not a fun arcade game to play. You know, it's not either. It's not a very good realistic it's not really a very good representation of the real life sport, and it's not a very good fantasy representation of the goddamn sport as well. So either way, the game is just not very good, you know. And don't get me wrong, there are some things I like about it, but those are individual things, and they're not lining up with the grand scheme. You know, what you want out of a basketball game is what I mentioned earlier, is you want it to be cohesive. You want everything to make sense within the overall grand scheme. And that's just not how it is right now. Like I said, you have like all of these different systems playing out without any knowledge of the other system playing out on the court. Like you have a fucking passing system completely. You have a passing system that's completely separate from the pick and roll system. That's the reason why all of that feels super wonky. Not in this game. This game has a really bad problem with pick and roll defense. But we're talking about like running a pick and roll and then throwing a nice little bounce pass off the pick and roll, or alley oops off the pick and roll and stuff like that. All of that looks very like, it doesn't look as good as it can look, and it's because the systems are not cohesive. They're not congruent with each other. But you know, I just want to throw y'all a video, man. Put a video out, man. You know, I'll try to upload a little bit more, man. But you know, honestly, I have to like the game. I have to like the game, man. And I did like the game when it first came out, but you know how it is with patches. They patch it to hell. It doesn't even feel the same way. They've taken animations out of this game. They've slowed the game down, sped the game up. They've tuned shooting back. I mean, it's just, if the game comes out good, they're gonna ruin it anyway. You know, and I felt like the game was okay when it first came out, but you know, like it just got ruined through patches by even more. But you know, the core issues in this game, they came at launch. The pick and roll defense was broken at launch. You know, the systems, the systems that the gameplay systems like passing, pick and roll, fucking dev, all of that is just separate